Well, hi. Today I wanted to talk about the Delphi murders. Is Richard Allen literally out of his mind? Is he going to use the insanity plea? What did the law enforcement officers actually mean by some of their recent statements? And, kind of what is your take on this? We're going to be doing a quick discussion. I'm really not going to do much editing, so you're going to hear all the, and see all the mistakes. This is the way it is. But let's get started. Okay, so if you are a regular viewer, I usually do vintage crime, mystery, paranormal, all the fun stuff. But I have been doing, a lot of people seem to like the Delphi series. So I wanted to add a little bit of that because there are just some things that, to me, they're just mind blowing. I don't understand. So yeah, um, first of all, sorry, I'm itchy nose, like I'm not, you know what I mean. It's just a scratch. Uh, the About a week ago. Now, tell me, did y'all hear this? About a week ago, I heard all these reports about Richard Allen doing the insanity plea and talking to his attorneys like maybe he should do this and was he temporarily insane, whatever. And then I heard it for a day or two, like on multiple platforms. And now it's just poof. I can't find it. It's gone. I don't know whether, like, I don't know if I just had, like, a brain aneurysm or something. But I really kept hearing that and now I can't find it. So did y'all hear that? Because I'm not sure. Now it's making me think, am I making this up or was this like a glitch in the matrix? I mean, for y'all weird people, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't worry. It's okay. But so I got to thinking about it. I've told you, first of all, Richard Allen, I don't think he will ever get the insanity plea, even if he wanted to. You have to be really, really. I mean, look, Charles Manson didn't get it. If Manson didn't get it, do you think Richard Allen's going to get it? I don't think so. That's just my opinion, but, you know, he's not drilling on himself, so I'm pretty sure that he's not going to get it. But what really concerns me is this whole thing that he's talking about asking for bail. Now, this is not going to come up for consideration until February. But I mean, that honestly makes me think, are you insane? I have said over and over that I'm a nurse. I work in corrections. So I am at the jail, 5 days a week. Now, if you heard the phone call that supposedly an inmate uh, gave the phone interview where he was talking about Richard Allen being in the jail, I assume it sounded legit. I mean, who knows? But what he was saying was very true. I'm sure that he's scared. He's in ISO because there's a big threat. I'm sure the inmates are yelling through the door, threatening him, telling him they're going to kill him, and all that kind of stuff that inmates do. And probably that makes him very, very nervous. But I mean, if any of y'all who are in that area are listening, please do not, like, still, even though, yes, can things happen in jail? Yeah, they can, but um, not as much now because most jails have cameras everywhere. Now, I don't know how, I mean, he's in prison. They should have cameras everywhere. So, I mean, it's not, it's not the same really as it was, a few years ago when more things could go unnoticed. And even in the county that I work for, um, they're always, if you're an ISO, you're always under a camera. And you are the safest. No matter what they yell through the doors, okay, you are still safer in than out. Because, at least everywhere you go in the DOC, you're they're going to be watching you, okay? They are going to be looking at every move you make. If you are out, let's say he gets bail, it only takes one person convinced that he is the, the sole perpetrator, or, that he is the one that actually, did this crime. Look, you're gone. And I'm not saying, look, I don't have sympathy for people who kill little girls. But at the same time, I think we all want him to have a fair trial. I hope so, because, just like I talk about in so many of the crimes that I cover, the vintage crimes, where people were, railroaded and they didn't get a fair trial. I mean, we don't want to have that on our conscience, okay? And I feel like you all feel the same way. So, Richard Allen, please do not try to get out of jail. I know it's uncomfortable. I know the food's bad. It's not a nice, cozy place. But geez Louise, you are way safer in there than you will ever be on the street. So I just have to think you've got to really be insane if you think you'd rather take your chances on the outside. I mean, I feel like most people would, I think you'll get as many threats on the outside, and, you're probably going to have things screamed at you. You'll have to go into hiding, and then you won't even be safe. So, yeah, that's just my thought on that. And I don't know what you're thinking, but don't. Just stop thinking right now. I'm telling you. Okay, so then, the attorneys. I mean, when I heard the interview with what are their names? Rozzy, something like that, and Lord, I can't even remember the two attorneys that were assigned to him. Apparently, they're very experienced and they know what they're doing, and good. I believe that he needs proper representation, but at first it kind of threw me when I was listening to him, and then I was like, oh yeah, but they're just attorneys. Don't be rattled by what you think they're saying. First of all, I have some attorney friends. I love y'all. I do. But let's be honest. If you're a defense attorney, you are pretty much going to have to lie for a living in some cases. Not everybody's guilty. So, I mean, you have no choice. First of all, they didn't agree to take this case, but now they are thrust on the national scene, and they better be good. You don't want a mistrial. The state of Indiana is paying for that, so you want them to be good. And what are they going to do? Of course, they're going to come out and say, yeah, I don't know why they charged him. Like, there is nothing in this public affidavit, this PCA that they have. There is nothing that even suggests, like, it's very flimsy. My client, he is, reportedly, Richard Allen is like, I don't know why they're accusing me. I'm just bumfuzzled. Well, of course you're going to say that. What you going to do? What's the defense attorney going to do? Make a public statement? Yeah, like we looked at the evidence. We talked to Mr. Allen. Yeah, he's guilty. Is homemade sin. I mean, you're not going to. You're just not. So, they have to represent, and I'm sure, they said that Kathy Allen, his wife, is very supportive, and she doesn't understand, and she's had to leave her house. And, I did a whole video on this. Let's not crucify her. Let's, and I still believe that. But is she as supportive? She might be. I mean, that's her husband, and she has every right to be supportive of him, by law. So she can't testify against him. So there you go. And, they're all saying, yeah, she's 100% on board. She doesn't understand. Rick would never do this. Well, again, what else are they going to say? Oh, yeah, his wife thinks he's guilty. We don't, but she does. I mean, come on. It's a game. It's a drama. in the courtroom, it's unfortunately it is to win a case. There is a lot like watching a show. Whoever puts on the best, most convincing show, and hopefully the jury will just look at the evidence, and hopefully the evidence will be clear enough. Um, the prosecutor, of course, law enforcement are saying that they feel like they have um, enough evidence to put him away. Now, in the even if the let's say the probable cause, that's the PCA, the probable cause document says that it's this, this, and this. Understand that that is not all of the evidence. They are not required to put every piece of evidence in that probable cause, just enough for the judge to sign off on it. Now, that being said, the defense attorneys are like, well, there's not really that much in there, but you don't have all the evidence yet. And even if they unsealed the probable cause, it wouldn't tell us everything that is in there and why they are so convinced that he's guilty. So there's that. I know I'm saying a lot. Yeah, sorry. This is what I cut out in my other videos. Okay. And also, let me just say this. I am not too upset with the defense to come out and say, oh, he's innocent. We don't understand why our client has even been charged. Because look, at the end of the day, once again, we want Richard Allen to have a fair trial. Because if he is guilty, like, by God, I want him under the jail. But I want to be sure that we are not putting an innocent man in jail. We've seen this time after time in history, and I'm sure that law enforcement has felt a lot of pressure to get this solved. I honestly don't think this is just something that they put together, to say, let's accuse somebody, let's find somebody, because after all of this time, public opinion, they're not happy with us, we can't find the culprit. Well, I don't think that's what they're doing. I mean, if they are, shame on you. But I don't believe that. I think they really have a reason. And yeah, I want him to have a fair trial. And here's the thing, with the defense coming out and saying so publicly, we don't see a reason for that my client is, being charged for this. That, even though it's disconcerting maybe in some ways, it still is putting that out there for everybody in the community, in the state, whoever's going to be on that jury. How are you going to find jury members that are impartial in this case? It's such a high profile, emotional case. You've got to have some balance of, the defense or whatever saying, no, this isn't. So if you are on that jury, that you can honestly look with an open mind, and you don't already have all of this pressure to find him guilty. I mean, remember, if you watched my regular channel last week, I did Leo Frank, and I mean, pretty much the jury was going to have to find him guilty. Now, he could have been guilty, I don't know. All that research I did, I still don't know. But it's the same situation. We don't want to put so much pressure on the jury to find him guilty just to find out later that wasn't true, okay? We don't want him to get, off of the charges if he is guilty. But yeah, you just think about how it has to play out, and kind of just look at it like a play, or a ballet. They're just dancing around this and dancing around that. They have to. They have to. That's the only way they're going to get justice in the end, hopefully, for Abby and Libby. one thing that law enforcement said, and y'all probably picked up on this, I haven't heard many people, I've only heard one person talk about this. Um, Law enforcement said that one of the reasons they did not want this unsealed is because of the juvenile or potential juvenile witnesses. Now, being that this was 6 years ago, if there were people out there who are witnesses, they possibly are not juveniles anymore, depending on their age then, but they're still young, okay? They're still young adults, and in my opinion, way more impressionable, especially with social media and things like that. So they definitely, even if they redacted the names, there would probably be enough people in the area who could kind of put stuff together. And it makes me question, I thought when I first heard this case, I thought that Libby and Abby were out on this bridge and it was a very remote area. There was nobody around. Um, that is not true. I think it was Abby's grandmother that said that she talked to at least 50 people who were out there that day who said, hey, I was out there and me and the fam, it was a nice day, whatever, kids were out of school. And so it was not completely remote. That whole area, there were trails, there were other people, and they have since said that there were a lot of people in that area that day. So, could they have, put it together by a witness statement? Oh, I saw this guy on the bridge. I don't know who it was. Or maybe, maybe some of the kids saw, oh, I saw that guy. I don't know what his name is. He works at the CVS. I saw him out there that day, but I didn't see anybody with him. You don't know what all the ins and outs of the testimony were. So, I mean, I feel like um, we do need to make sure that their testimony and their memory, because now it's been 6 years, and then you have people in your ear talking, they know you're a witness. People are going to give you their opinions because that's what people do, right? That's what I'm doing right now, giving you my opinion, and everybody's going to do that. So, yeah, as much as I want to know every little detail about this case. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be another couple of years before all of that comes out. But if we have to live with it being sealed, I'm not crazy about it, but I understand. I definitely think that the witnesses, anything that having to do with witness testimony or eyewitness testimony should be not just redacted, but not made available. And that's just my opinion if they were younger. Um, so, uh, so what do you think about this? My personal final thoughts on this is what I have said all along, just a gut feeling. I never thought that Richard Allen was, and I mean, I could still be proved to be wrong, but I do not think that he was in this all by himself. He just, I don't mean to be mean, but he just didn't seem like that kind of guy that would, all on his own, attack two girls, maybe one, not two. I there is, and law enforcement has said over and over it's, if you listen to what they're saying, they keep talking about these tentacles of, they're just kind of everywhere. And I believe, who was it? I was just listening today, who said in 40 years, in his 40 years of experience, he has never seen a case with so many tentacles. So, it goes a lot of places, and I've always felt like it did. And at the end of the day, was Richard Allen the actual perpetrator of the deed? He might not be, okay? That may be true. I don't know. He'll still be charged as an accessory or guilty, I mean, of murder two, okay? Murder one, two. Uh, I don't see him getting out of this. But, I, you know, I still, I still cannot get over Kagan Klein. Just too many things. What are the odds? I mean, come on. I know weird things happen sometimes. What are the odds that you are talking to Liberty right before she disappears? What are the odds that you did a search of the Marathon gas station the day Libby and Abby disappeared? It's just, what are the odds that you were Googling, how long does DNA stay on a body? That is just too much. And in my opinion, they've said Kagan Klein is really looking at least 60 years in jail just for the crimes that they've already charged him with. They've dropped some of those, but that's to be expected. He still has, I believe, 25 crimes still that he's being charged with, so that's a lot. He's going to be in jail, hopefully the rest of his life. I mean, I hate to say that, but when it comes to child crimes, it's not, statistics are not good, okay? You don't usually, what's the word? Get cured of liking little kids in that manner. So I'm going to say you probably need to stay in jail for everybody's protection. And but that's just me. What do you think? Do you think that Kagan is still involved? I think he will be charged at some point or be brought into this, as well as, probably a lot of people. Again, I'm going to say it, if Richard Allen is involved. And I don't care if he was the actual perpetrator of the murder or if he was just there and helping, assisting to traffic or something like that. You cannot tell me that if he is in any way or shape involved in this, that he does not have a history of being involved, at least watching CP. Okay? You are not going to start trying to abduct, or have relations with a child if you have not already been doing this in your head. And that is just the God's honest truth. And I'm sorry to the family if, this comes out. It could have been a dirty little secret in his own head. Maybe nobody knew. Maybe he got caught up in all of this, and maybe this was his first time. I don't know. But yeah, this to me will always say he has had a problem with this in the past, most likely for a long time. Those are just my thoughts. I love to read your thoughts. Tell me what you think. I have some new stuff I'm doing on my regular channel this month, not just the crimes. And I kind of broke with tradition. If you watch my other stuff, tomorrow's episode is going to be not what I expected or you're expecting. So tune in for that. And I'm going to be doing some weird Christmas Merry Scary Christmas. Did y'all know that Christmas is a horrific holiday in a lot of other countries? Yeah. So anyway, tell me about the Delphi case if you love it. And I will see you next time I have something to say. Anyway, hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.